Hey, welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic, and to another episode of my series, Free on Facebook, a series of videos in which I find things for free and I show you how to repair them, repurpose them, or recycle them in another manner. In this video, I got this Maytag washing machine that's bouncing around and shaking like crazy. So if you have a Maytag, Whirlpool, Kenmore, or a Mana washing machine and it's shaking around, this video is for you. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Alright, so this is the machine I picked up the other day, but as I stated, this video is applicable to a wide range of machines as long as they have these 6 lights followed by a pause play button. So a wide variety of models will have these lights followed by that button right there. So, and in this case, I actually picked up the dryer as well, and this was one of those rare occurrences where both of them had some issues. Most of the time when I pick up a set like this, one of the two is good. The dryer just had a bad thermal fuse, and I suggest replace that thermal fuse and the cycling and operating thermostat, but that's a video for another day. In this video, I'm going to show you how to repair this thing that's bouncing around like crazy. So to do this repair, all you need is a simple 1/4-inch nut driver or a 1/4-inch socket with a ratchet, and that'll allow you to get access to the suspension rods, which is most likely at fault here and causing your washing machine to bounce around and bang around the sides like crazy. So we'll get to that next. So the first thing we're going to do is remove these 3 screws. 1, 2, and 3. And just in case if you have a Samsung or GE washing machine, I have videos on how to replace the suspension rods on those as well, because even though the concepts are the same, how to take the machine apart is a little bit different than it is for these Maytag, Whirlpool, or Kenmore type pause play type machines. So be sure to check this out if you have those machines. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and remove these screws, and then that'll allow us to take the top off. Alright, so we removed the 3 screws from the back, and we're at the front now. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the top from the edges right here and pull towards ourselves, then lift up. So towards ourselves, and then lift up. That should lift the whole top back up. Now what we do is we're going to go ahead and set it back. And it actually has hinges which it goes back on. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you want to make sure it's set back nice and securely, and we'll take a look at the hinges just to give you a better idea of what it should look like when it's set back properly. So you see it's actually set back on the hinges from the screws that we took off. So they're sitting on the hinge right there, and there's this guy, another hinge right there as well. So that's nice and secure, so it won't come down on our heads when we're working. Alright, let's take a look at these suspension rods. So this washing machine is what's called a VMW washer, vertical modular washer. And basically this tub, and it's suspended by these suspension rods in each corner. These ones here are a bit filthy, and you could probably see why they went bad, but they're probably the original ones on this washer, and this is probably a 10-year-old machine at least. Got some rust buildup on them as well. But what we can do is so there's 4 suspension rods. What I like on this particular model, what we're going to have to do is release the suspension rods from the bearing here, and then pull them out from underneath one at a time. Some of the newer style machines, there's a little slot where you could just unhook it from over here and pull it out without actually having to reach underneath, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that for this puppy here. And I also recommend doing these suspension rods one at a time, so where you remove one and then you install one, then you move on to the next one, and then the remaining 2 after that. Because if you remove all 4 at once, it's just gonna drop the tub, and it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge to get them back on. I've done it that way, and trust me, this way I found it to be much more efficient. So I'll show you what the process of undoing these old suspension rod looks like next. It's probably also not a bad idea to get some gloves on because it is pretty filthy in here and a little bit grimy and stuff, so always good to keep hygiene and cleanliness as well. Okay, so to remove the rod, I'm gonna grab it from the middle, so I'm gonna give my hand and stick it down there and pull up like so, and then I'm going to grab this bearing and rotate it this way until the rod's free. Then we'll go ahead and let it go, and that's it. Like I said, this particular model, the rod won't just slide out of the side of the tub. We're gonna actually go underneath and grab it. But on a lot of the older ones, or the newer ones I should say, it just slides right out to the side because the tub has a little slit where it goes into. But that's how you remove the rod, and I'll show you how to pull it out from the bottom as well. Before I grab it from the bottom there, I just want to show you what it looks like when it's unhooked, and that's what it looks like. But again, like I said, some of the newer style machines will actually just have a little slit right here along this plastic. Well, this is a complete circle. Some will have a slit right here, and that'll allow you to just pull this rod out from the top. Well, this, as you can see, is an enclosed circle. So we're going to have to grab this from the bottom, actually. In order to do that, we're going to have to pull this top back down, but there's no reason to snap it into place. You can just put it down slightly and just lift it up with one hand and grab the rod from underneath. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like next. Top down, but as you can see, I didn't line it up or anything, so it wouldn't slide back into place. And then after that, this should move the camera back. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of tip the machine back and pull the rod out from underneath. Depending on how much leverage you have, you may have to angle it out like so. It should come right out. That's how you take the suspension rod out. So the first thing we're going to do when replacing the suspension rods is we're going to go ahead and put these plastic pieces back in, and this is just snap in like this. Then we're going to insert the suspension rod hook side up from the bottom, and it's going to go through that hole on the tub of the washer, and then we'll slide it into the bearing. But first what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and slide it in through the hole and show you what it looks like when it's through there and ready to be inserted into the bearing. So once again, I'm going to put this down slightly off center, and then I'm going to go ahead and insert this through the bottom and through that hole. Alright, so I've inserted the suspension rod hook side up through that hole. I do apologize for the dog barking in the background. It's my neighbor's dog. And so that's what it should look like. Hopefully that can be seen. So the hook is through that hole there. And so the next part, we're going to go ahead and grab that from just underneath the hook and put it into the bearing over here. Alright, so we're back here, and we're going to go ahead and grab it from just underneath the hook, and we're going to pull it through this plastic piece right here, and then hook it onto the bearing. So we'll be inserting it this side, then rotating this part until it is actually locked in. And so what that looks like is, so grabbing it from underneath the hook and kind of rotate it into position there. There's a hook, as you can see. You rotate this way, and it's actually locked in like so. And we'll drop it right in. That's how the suspension rod is installed. And we're going to do the same thing for all the remaining suspension rods. I suggest working at them one at a time, where you remove one and replace one. To demonstrate the whole process again, how to replace these suspension rods is going to go ahead and get your hand and stick it down there and pull the rod up, and then grab this bearing and just spin it until you get to the slot, and that'll allow you to pull the bearing off, Go ahead and drop that rod down and pull it out from underneath. And don't forget to remove the old plastic piece as well. It's just clipped into the hole right here. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to go ahead and get some sandpaper and clean off the rust right here as well, because it can lead to weird screeching noises. I've seen that as well. Once again, the process to install the suspension rods is everything in reverse. So we'll go ahead and snap that in, and then we're going to go ahead and lower the top, making it a little bit off center so it doesn't snap into place. And then we'll go ahead and insert the suspension rod with the hook side up into the plastic hole of the tub from underneath. Alright, so once the suspension rod is inserted into the hole, we're going to once again grab it from just below the hook and then insert it through the hole here and onto the bearing. So here it comes through that hole, and we're going to slide it onto the bearing and then just rotate the bearing until it snaps into place like so. So I'll show you what that looks like. So suspension rod, we rotate the bearing until the hook is hooked in to this portion of it. Otherwise it'll just slide out through that slit right there. So yeah, that's how you replace the suspension rods. So after you've done all four, I'm gonna go back and reassemble the washing machine. To do that, we're gonna go ahead and put the top back down and snap it into place. Alright, so the only thing left is put the screws back into place. Alright, so that's how you replace the suspension rods on any sort of washing machine that has 6 LED lights followed by a pause play button. So hopefully that'll stop that washing machine from banging around and you can get some more life out of your machine. So if you found this to be helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.